sometimes I worry about situations where knowledge can be lost for millennium. We need this. So thank you.
The body of knowledge is fragile. And we've seen, I've been looking back at myths, and sometimes all we have of one of these important gods is the broken feet of the statue. And they hardly even know if it was male or female. Like there was a god Agon, who's the god of the contest, and his name is embedded in antagonist and protagonist and agony and other things. For a long time, all they had was the feet. And now they've found statues and have explored that a little more. But it's tragic, really, how much has been lost. But you still have your poetic imagination, just as they did in the old days.
Yeah,
that's. I think this is what you're doing, Douglas. Is you're using the poetic imagination, which is to pose these questions: what's in there? Why is it there? And in your writing too. To write about a historical character as you did, you have to go to the room and you have to think about everything. That's what's on the wall and what's on the floor and what's going on outside the window. And
100%.
Oh man, that is a huge act of your mind to think all this stuff up. So
yeah, you do have to delve in there and be in that headspace for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think these archetypal designs are so useful for. To me, it's so good to internalize these things like the hero's journey or the heroine's labyrinth or so that when you are writing, the structure slides to the background. You've internalized it, and then you could be intuitive with your storytelling, knowing that you're at least on the right path or doing something that should resonate in the story.
Yeah, I find this myself in my humble efforts to create scenes and so forth, is that you sort of look at the map before you start, then you put the map aside, and you don't drive with the map stuck to the windshield. You put it aside, and then you get lost and you pull it out. Or what's really cool is you just let that poetic imagination unspool, and you just sort of say, okay, I'm in the screening room, roll them, and let's see what comes up. And then there's a delight in finding, oh, you know what? That actually landed right on stage 7 of the hero's journey and is exactly perfect to do what, if I'd been looking for it, I would have been happy to find it. But I wasn't looking for it, but there it was anyway.
Totally.
And that's just delightful. And it validates for me that this stuff is hardwired into us, and you don't have to work so hard. You just, you let your mind naturally think about things and what happened and why, and you're going to find these bones emerging.
I agree. In fact, I tell people all the time, you're probably writing these archetypes accidentally. If you can find them, zoom in and build them out, because those are the big ones, that you accidentally reproduced. So
yeah, just even in a small way. I worked with a writer one time, and he had a story about a sad guy who had been in school, and the little girl said, "I'm having a birthday party. I want everybody to come except him," and pointed to this poor guy. And so he went away and he had his life, and he came back to the town. The girl's name was Mary. He came back to the town and he went to rent a car, and the woman at the desk was Mary. And she wouldn't rent him a car. She just refused him to rent the car. So again, he was pushed back by Mary. And I said, that was brilliant, man. How you made Mary this now grown-up obstacle that carried through the idea. And he said, oh my God, I never even thought about that. I didn't think they were the same person. I just reached for a name, and that was the one that came up. So he's lazy in his thinking, but he had accidentally done something intelligent, and story-wise,
it accidentally does something intelligent.
That's what instincts are: accidental intelligence.
I'm hoping I get that writer's critique one day when I take a script to somebody or something like, accidentally, Heath, you've done something intelligent.
You didn't mean to, but don't change it back. You stumbled into something great. So,
some of the members in the chat asked me, Doug, did you do this intentionally in the book? And I started to say no, and they're like, no, don't say no. Always say you did it intentionally.
Yeah, that's right. You certainly would take that.
It was deliberate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think that's true. That part of you was intentional about it and conscious.
Unconsciously.
Sable Phoenix for $10 said, just with regard to Campbell as well, just because something is old and doesn't fit the changes to cultural mores doesn't mean that passing on that ancestral wisdom is morally turpid. Those who jump on Campbell are ideologically myopic.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. There's a quote he says. I put it in the Heroine's Labyrinth because I believe in this so much. Joseph Campbell said, quote, "For the symbols of mythology are not manufactured. They cannot be ordered, invented, or permanently suppressed. They are the spontaneous productions of the psyche, and each bears within it, undamaged, the germ power of the source." Right. I love that because you can't make them up. You can't say, this is what I want heroines to do. This is what I want heroes to be good. You can't manufacture that. They have to come inherently. They come from the human psyche. Your job is to identify them, and hopefully, if you're a writer, to use them properly to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that I am the master of the obvious, and that I am telling you things you already know, but reminding you. And as Campbell did, I try to articulate them and give them names and sort of corral them a little bit and try to think of all the variations, as Campbell did. He tried to be exhaustive about all the different things that might happen. And I tried to do the same, but always aware that I was just tapping my own veins, and that everybody's got this on some level. And then there's a lot of arguments about, well, it's culturally, it's a Western idea. People have said it's a 19th century invention of the Industrial Revolution to enslave people, and so forth. You get all this anti-rhetoric, but I think it crosses cultures, and people watch movies across the world and get them because we all have arms, legs, eyes, hands, and the biology is the same, and the life cycle is the same, and so it makes sense.
Totally agree. And Lucas himself, he was watching movies that were made in Japan that helped, so it wasn't like he was taking an Eastern idea that he identified with, and when we put it into Star Wars, we identified with it. So I do think there's something transcendent about these things, and I trust that.
Yeah.